Just thought we'd come out in the garden today to show you what's going on in our garden this time of year. So first thing we find is the shallots outside by the garage. They were in the cold frame, but some of them have been moved down, as you'll see later on, by the polytunnel. So that was to make room for the plants that you can see in the cold frame. There's some cabbages and onions and things that we're growing for a spring fair that we're going to take some plants to at Hyde Hall in April. Now we're in the lean-to greenhouse at the back of the garage. Obviously this is where we do a lot of our propagation of plants. So under the cover here, which is quite warm and sunny today, so we've got it covered to protect these in here. And this is just some marrows and pumpkins and squashes that were sown in the week, again hopefully for Hyde Hall. And then we've also got some herbs at the other end that was sown today. At the other side of the greenhouse and at the back there's some plants again being grown for this plant fair we're doing at Hyde Hall. So there's some marrows, courgettes, a lot of tomatoes, all in cell trays, and a few flowers for the garden later on, some geraniums and begonias. Underneath the paper in the seed trays there are some cauliflowers and cabbages that were sown in the week. You can just see some of them are just poking their heads out. Down the garden now towards the greenhouse and the polytunnel. The sand beds, which will be being prepared soon. Just got some broad beans sitting on there at the moment, hardening off. These were some spring sown express. So first of all, as you come in the door, you can see the large exhibition onions. This is the stage they're at the moment. They will go out in the garden later on. And then you come along to some tough ball. Now these were just put into these pots only in the last week. They had been in the greenhouse all winter, and a warm greenhouse, same as Marcus Powell is doing, so it'd be interesting to know how big his ones are at this stage compared with ours. Then we've just got some more leeks. And then in the cell trays here, again more leeks, red onions and various other sorts of onions, some beetroot, lettuces, all for some early beet. And obviously some of these again are for the spring plant fair at Hyde Hall. And the cabbage plants, Offinham, which you see in the front here as well. So they're all just on the staging in the greenhouse. No heat now, although it is very warm today. I think the sun has warmed it up quite well. The automatic vents are opening, so it must be quite warm. Can't actually see the thermometer from here. So now we've come into the polytunnel. As you can see, it's quite full this year. We've made use of all the space. We've put in some early cabbages and some marathon calabrese, so they'll grow on in here and hopefully we'll get some early vegetables from those. Also in here are some potatoes we're growing in pots. These are Lady Crystal, and they were under the bench in the lean-to greenhouse till this morning. You'll see they were ready to move on from there. Then towards the back of the polytunnel from where I'm standing is the what we call our 4 rows of early potatoes, which will be going out in the garden at the end of the month. They were sown about the 14th of March in the bags. We've got 4 varieties: Amore, Kestrel, Purple-eyed Seedling and Winston. And then as we come out of the greenhouse, we've got some Kestrel, which went in about the middle of February. Again, the ones in the buckets are just for us to eat for some early potatoes. So it's like the kestrel and the lady kestrel that you saw. Outside the polytunnel now are the rest of the plants of the marathon and the cabbages that you saw planted in the polytunnel. We're just hardening them off and we're going to put them out in the garden. And there's also some leeks, again for the garden. And alongside those are the shallots that got moved out of the cold frame. All the shallots will come down here later on. Now we're in the small greenhouse, which is where for the last few years we've grown some stump carrots, sweet candle, and these were sown yesterday. Just covered in newspaper, just to hopefully keep the compost moist till they germinate. At the back of the greenhouse is a big tray, and that's got some sweet corn in. Again, hopefully these will be plants we can sell. Out in the garden now, and obviously this time of year there's not much, but we've just put the shallots out this morning, and really about the only other thing growing in the garden at the moment, gone a bit mad because we have had a few warm days, is the rhubarb at the end of bed 6 here. And now we're just looking back towards the house, and as you can see all 6 beds have been dug and just spread with a bit of lime. I'm just in the garage now doing some more sieving of compost. I've already done half the F2S, but I'm just doing some more now. And when we do the other carrot mixes for the stump carrots in the beds, so it's just going through 1/4 inch sieve into the bucket that's in the bottom of the old dustbin here, and then I'll bag it up, same as the ones that are bagged up over here already, for when we do the mix.